Thing you need to know about SeaWorld Orlando's newest one-of-a-kind roller coaster, Pipeline the Surf Coaster. So the first question you're probably wondering is, what exactly is Pipeline the Surf Coaster? Well, Pipeline the Surf Coaster is a unique launched stand-up coaster where the seats have the ability to move up and down, which gives a very unique sensation of airtime that allows the ride to help replicate the feeling of surfing the waves. Question you're probably wondering is, where is Pipeline the Surf Coaster? Well, Pipeline is the first coaster you will see when walking up to SeaWorld Orlando, and once you enter the park, it's located to your right, and then you continue straight, and once you see the lake and icebreaker in the distance, you take a right from there, and then once you continue straight, then you'll hit Pipeline the Surf Coaster. Take a look at Pipeline the Surf Coaster stats. So Pipeline is manufactured by Bolliger & Mabillard. It has a height requirement of 54 inches and is the perfect attraction in between Icebreaker and then SeaWorld Orlando's other three much more extreme B&M coasters, Manta, Kraken, and Mako. Now, as for Pipeline speed, it hits a top speed of 60 miles per hour, has a height of 110 feet, and a length of just under 3,000 feet of track at 2,950 feet of track. For Pipeline the Surf Coaster's trains, this is what really makes the ride unique. So as I mentioned earlier, you are standing up on the ride, and the trains feature 24 passengers and 12 rows of 2 riders. Now you are restrained with an over-shoulder restraint that features a vest, and one good thing is that the actual bars are much further from your head than other stand-up coasters, so you will be getting no headbang. But those vests do provide another issue, and that's the fact that the vests hug your chest very tightly, which ends up hurting your collarbone over time. As when I got off the ride after my second ride, my collarbone was pretty darn sore. That's one thing to note if you go to ride Pipeline. Your collarbone will likely be sore. Because Pipeline is called the Surf Coaster, obviously the trains are themed to surfboards, and one thing to note is a nice touch is that if you look down at your feet, there's several references to other animals and coasters at SeaWorld Orlando on the trains. And then also, another thing that makes these trains unique is the seats do go up and down, as I mentioned earlier, which provides a very unique sensation of airtime, which in my opinion doesn't feel like airtime. It feels more like the floor dropping beneath you, which is a hint for a future video coming to this channel, so stay tuned. My final thoughts on Pipeline and a mini review. Now, personally, I think Pipeline is a great fit for SeaWorld Orlando, and it's a perfect coaster in between Icebreaker and Mako, Kraken, and Manta, as it's not super intense, yet it's still very thrilling and a ton of fun. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the seats can bounce up and down, which really makes this ride have some really unique airtime. Because there are multiple points during the ride where the seats will bounce up and down, mainly going over hills, but also when you're coming out of a corkscrew and that first overbank turn. It really does feel like the floor is dropping beneath you because like the seat moves upward, but it doesn't feel like you are moving upward, even though you are. It's hard to describe, but yeah, the best I can describe it with is it does feel like the floor is dropping beneath you, like a trapdoor slide. So other than that, like I feel like Pipeline, it is a very good length, as even though it's under 3,000 feet of track, the ride never feels too short. And also, another thing to note, this thing is not very intense. Don't go into this expecting a super intense ride like many of B&M's other stand-up coasters. This is not very intense, and that's a good thing, because it means it'll be definitely more comfortable on your groin and your legs. And that's another thing to note with this ride, is that because it's a stand-up coaster, it's still, especially if you're a dude, it will hurt your groin a little bit. So that's one thing to note if you plan on heading to SeaWorld Orlando soon to ride Pipeline. It is definitely worth it and was definitely a great addition to SeaWorld Orlando. So if you made it this far in the video, I just want to thank you for watching the video, and remember to give this video a like and share this video with anybody you know who will be visiting SeaWorld Orlando soon. And also remember to subscribe to Southeastern Thrills And if you want more information about SeaWorld Orlando, check out my video on how to have the best day ever at SeaWorld Orlando, and stay tuned for future videos, and peace.